day?
Yeah.
My damn legs swelled up so bad. I thought it was going to cut off the circulation in that kick.
Okay. There you go. Teach us all Sunday school.
To the end of that.
Where is he at?
End of July, there's a big show tomorrow time.
Can't even see up there.
It's the 50th anniversary of the Johnny Garden Tractor. It's like yeah, they just keep holding on. It's kind of like collecting antique tractors or anything. They just keep, he does great. They just keep holding on.
No, the boss, we had one put down in Vietnam. Yeah, my neighbor yard on field. Old cold. When you put out the hydraulics, you put out
About 30 tractors.
they claim they could buy something.
Yeah, I was looking at you the last time down here. I'm like, I ain't seen it in a gun club here. Where the hell's he been?
Tell you, I was saying.
There you go, Tom.
That's state law now. I mean, that's passed a long time ago. Whenever they send out trucks, whenever they send a truck in the road, talk about a waste of money. That's all right. I heard a guy that I work with, up in the fireman, he got a scanner in his office. I heard him saying that yesterday there was something going on, and they said the only EMP you have is the one that's in your truck. Backs getting away.
He's a little smaller making those now.
Are you recording?
How much memory does that high def camera have? Can you get an hour worth of video on it?
That's a good question. I think, well, I just cleared it before.
First panel, please come up. Does everybody know who's in the first panel? Joe Kern, Frank Jones, Chief Johnson, Chief Brown, Fry, Mr. Webster. Webster, come up. Oh, come on up, take a seat.
Pull the chair up.
Just pull the chair up. Tim Fry, did that panel. Okay, now it's 12:20. We're going to start at 12:20. At 1:20, we're going to go to the opposition.
Mr. Chairman, Chairman Valerio and Vice Chair DeMay, and Chairman Hammond, I want to thank all of the members of the committee. Thank you for your consideration of the Firearms Safety Act of 2013. Also Vice Chair Pendergrass and all members. It's my honor to be on this distinguished panel with Dr. Webster, with Chief Johnson, who we've seen a lot of in the halls of our Congress, and also Dr. Sharfstein, our Secretary of Health and Mental dental hygiene. And to my left, of course, a person well known to all of you, who not only was a terrific Attorney General and very much involved in this issue of gun safety, but also happens to have some of the most beautiful grandchildren in all of Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, this administration has offered for your consideration the Firearm Safety Act of 2013. And we are offering these proposals because every life in our state is important, every life is needed, every life is precious, and every life matters. These are things that we can do together to save lives, to reduce gun violence, while at the same time protecting the rights of law-abiding citizens. The common sense proposals that we have put before you this session seek a common ground to do those things. We can and should protect the safety of our brave police officers without infringing on the traditions of hunters. We can and should ask for a license and basic safety training before a person can purchase a handgun. We can and should recognize that no one needs a military-style assault weapon to hunt for deer. And we can all agree that upgrading the physical security of our schools is an investment worth making. An overwhelming majority of Marylanders support the reforms you are considering, and they do so for a reason. The police chiefs, faith leaders, advocates for public health, advocates for domestic violence victims, the parents, the hunters who have come forward to endorse this common sense legislation have chosen to do so for a reason. These reforms are common sense. These reforms are comprehensive. These reforms are effective. And most importantly, all of these reforms just might save the lives of little boys and girls, of moms and dads, of sisters and brothers. By choosing to do the things that work together with law enforcement, we are making very real progress to improve public safety and to save lives in our state. But we still have a long way to go. Guns still take the lives of too many of our fellow Marylanders. There are five, which is why we can and must do more. There are five basic components of the proposals we put before you. Number one, first we are asking you to require a license and gun safety training in order to purchase a handgun. Licensing keeps guns away from criminals and it saves lives. In places where licenses have been required, fewer guns make it into the hands of criminals through straw purchases, whereby people buy guns only to hand them over to criminals who then, of course, use them in crimes of violence. What's more, states that have similar licensing provisions as the ones before you have substantially lower gun death rates than states that do not. And maybe this is why 85% of Marylanders support these provisions. Number two, the proposals before you would also ban the sale of military-style assault weapons. These military-style weapons are designed for our brave servicemen and women to use on the battlefield in combat. They do not have a place on the streets or neighborhoods of Maryland. Since the federal ban expired, at least 461 Americans have been killed by military-style assault weapons. Of these 461 Americans, at least 35 were police officers. Number three, the proposal before you would ban high-capacity magazines with more than 10 rounds. Today, 4 states already ban these high-capacity magazines, and these 4 states also are among the states with the lowest rates of gun deaths. 4, these proposals would do more to keep guns away from people who have been determined to be dangerous to themselves or others as a result of mental illness. Nearly half of all mass shootings are perpetrated by individuals who suffer from a mental illness. With your vote, we can also improve mental health treatment and more timely sharing of data between public health and public safety. And finally, number 5, in this year's capital budget, we're asking for your support to upgrade security at Maryland schools with sound, smart, expert advice with a $25 million investment. In conclusion, the legislation we've put before you for your consideration is comprehensive, it is common sense, and it does find common ground that is supported by the vast majority of Marylanders. It will improve public safety. We've made important progress together. Since 2006, we have driven down violent crime by 24.4%. And that amounts to 426 lives that have been saved by driving down homicides alone. 426 families who have not been shaken by the murder of a loved one.